And so, 2 minutes and 47 seconds, that's a long time. So if you were here for our first episode, you know what we do when we cook these things. Josh, what do we do?
We like to pitch a sequel to a movie that that Matt is giving us. We may or may not have seen it, but also the sequel is something no one has ever seen. We're going to pitch it. Hollywood's going to make it, and it's going to be a box office explosion.
Mm-hmm. And so, we have to do the beginning, middle, and end in 2 minutes and 47 seconds. So, Matt, why don't you give us our options for today?
Yeah.
We're going to pick one at random.
And this hat comes to us from my father-in-law, Bob. It's his sun hat. He uses it so that sun doesn't get on his face.
Okay, all right. Okay. Are you ready to hear today's film?
Yeah.
Today's film that we are going to pitch a sequel to is Up. And the synopsis for Up: an elderly widower named Carl Fredrickson ties thousands of balloons to his house, setting out to fulfill his dream of seeing Paradise Falls in South America and complete a promise made to his late wife, Ellie. But he inadvertently takes along a young stowaway named Russell on his adventure.
Great movie.
So, Josh, let's get the 2 minutes and 47 seconds on the clock, and let's pitch a sequel to Up in 3, 2, 1. Let's pitch that sequel. Okay, so Josh, where did we end up at the last film?
So we ended up at I super remember it. Everybody is very happy and everybody's hanging out, and it's the house is still floating, I believe, right? No, it's come to rest.
Yeah, the house has come to rest, and so we see the house come to rest, and you kind of see like just the tail end, and then we see a title card that says 10 years later.
And then what they have found is that the hallmark of the series is within the first 5 minutes, they're going to make the audience cry. Mm-hmm. So they do what, JJ?
They kill off Carl. They kill off Carl, and you have the same kind of sad whole,
There's
montage, like you had in the beginning of the first Up film, where he and Ellie, it's a doo-doo-doo-doo.
But instead of him, it's not Ellie and him. Obviously,
it's him and Russell.
Russell and the bird and the dog.
And the bird and the dog. And so Russell has been watching over him the last 10 years. He's been kind of his caretaker because ever since they came back from the big journey, we had minute 45. He's been his caretaker. So
and
that's setting the scene.
Russell has grown up. He is actually a great, handsome, young, strapping man. He's now entering into his sophomore year of college at.
Azusa Pacific University, and so he is at Azusa Pacific University, but Carl had one dying wish, and that wish was,
I need you to bring my ashes to Mars.
So Russell is like, okay, before I start my sophomore year, I need to get Carl. I need to get his ashes to Mars. So you have him like trying a bunch of things, and he tries the balloons.
Yeah,
again.
Obviously the first thing he tries is the balloons, and he puts I'm gonna put 2 times as many balloons, and it obviously that doesn't work to get him to space.
He gets right up almost to space, and all the balloons start popping. But luckily he had a parachute attached that he deployed.
He's
like,
okay,
back to the drawing board.
I'm gonna need to try something else. I'm gonna put a parachute on top and then put 85 leaf blowers on the ground, and they're gonna blow me up.
So it's like a hot air balloon. But then he gets up to where it's cold, but then it's the heat dissipates, and so he can't rise anymore. So back to the drawing board. Time 3.
He's
third
like,
time's a charm.
The third time's a charm. And what he ends up doing is turning it into a freaking rocket ship house, and he puts 18 thrusters on the bottom, fire thrusters.
Yeah. And so he's getting up there, and then he gets he's out there, and Doug is out there, like they're both out in space, like trying to like look for stuff. But then Doug's attaching thing gets cut, and so he's floating off into space like Sandra Bullock did in Gravity.
And so. 10 seconds. So he goes off and he grabs the dog and brings him back, and then the ashes actually breaks. Good thing they're on Mars.
They're on
Mars
when they break, and Carl gets his final wish.
The
end.
And that is
Up to Mars.
Up to Mars. Up
to Mars. I
love it.
I actually am.
I kind of love it.
Fan.
Let me grab the hot pockets.
Okay, hold on here. I think Matt, who was the director of the first Up film? Was that Pete Docter? So Pete Docter, if you're listening, we are ready to talk, and we're ready to sign some papers to give you this this film. It's already written in our heads, and we did it in 2 minutes and 47 seconds. So if we can do that,
it's written in our heads and it's written in our hearts.
Imagine what we can do when we just fill in just a couple of the lines. Dot some T's, cross some I's, opposite.
The one. The one thing I would say they may want to do is make the Carl death at the beginning softer.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were aggressive on the.
Well, but I mean, it was also pretty aggressive in the first film. I mean, Pixar is always aggressive.
Yeah, Pixar is
They always,
aggressively aggressive.
Dude, I don't think there's been one Pixar movie where I haven't like cried in some way. A Bug's Life, I didn't really cry in. A Bug's Life, I had like happy tears. I will say that.
What do you think this gets on Rotten Tomatoes?
I think that this is going to be between 97 and 99. I don't think it's going to get 100 because I think there's going to be one person that says it wasn't realistic how they got to Mars.
It wasn't better than the original.
Yeah.
However, I'm gonna say, much like some people say about Toy Story 3, I'm gonna say people think Up to Mars is better than Up.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're attached to the characters already from the first movie, and so like to see Carl die so early, and then to see like Russell grow up. I'm with you. I don't know what the first one got, but I think this one's gonna get 1 or 2 higher. Yeah. Unless the first one got 100, then I think it'll also get 100. So
I think that's well deserved of a Hot Pocket bite.
Cheers to that.
Perfect temp.
I'll have good ham and cheese pock.